guys, it's Gameface here, and welcome to episode 1 of my Tottenham career mode. Now in today's episode, we're going to be starting off the new career mode and hopefully making some new signings, looking at our squad in general and trying to build a team that can really go and challenge for the top 4 and maybe the Premier League as well in this season. We'll have one eye on the Premier League potentially this season as well. But you guys voted for Tottenham in a video a couple of days ago. I asked you guys to vote on a poll and it was a very easy option for me to choose to do Tottenham in the end. 75% of people wanted a Tottenham career mode. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Apologies if it wasn't the team that you're after, but of course 75% of people wanted it, so it's inevitable that I was always going to pick this team. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to doing a career mode with Tottenham. Hopefully you guys are as well, and if you are new to the channel or just haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well. It'd be absolutely fantastic. Also, if we could try and get 200 likes on today's episode, I would really appreciate it. It'd be absolutely fantastic if you could go and smash that like button down below as well. And yeah, we're basically going to spend the first episode looking through some of the emails, going through the objectives, going through the team, looking at signings, that sort of thing in today's episode. And we might get to the first Premier League game. We'll have to wait and see how we get on. First of all, we'll take a look at some of the objectives that the board have set us. All of them are high except one, the financial, which is medium. But youth development-wise, he wants to sign 3 players younger than 20 years old with potential greater than the average overall rating of players currently in the same position. Quite a long-winded one. Long-term objective is within 2 seasons, grow 5 academy players by at least 10 overall points, play them in 10 matches as either part of the starting 11 or as a sub. Plenty of time to do that. We should be able to do that as well. £102 million worth of shirt sales. That'll be, I think, fairly easy for us. Financially, they want us to leave £17 million unspent at the end of the season. They want us to finish in the Champions League places. That's certainly my aim to do that. Like I said before, one eye on certainly trying to push the league title as well. And they also want us to win the FA Cup. That's going to be a tough one. Obviously, winning any sort of silverware is very tough. Continental success, they want us to reach the Champions League semi-finals. We are in the Champions League. We are in the group that Tottenham had in real life, so got to try and get into the semi-finals. That's a tough objective. Tottenham obviously not getting out of the groups in real life last season. That's a really tough one, I think, semi-finals. I mean, I'd love for us to do it, but it's going to be an extremely difficult one. We've got to add to the squad. We've got to make the squad better in depth as well. We'll do, I think, some youth scouts as well now. Take a look at what options are available to hire some scouts. We'll obviously just get the best ones. We've got plenty of money to spend, £94 million. I won't necessarily spend it all, to be honest. I like to try and keep the transfers nice and realistic. If you're new to the channel, then I do usually go for more realistic sort of signings. We will take a look at some English players. I think we'll go 9 months. We'll go any type of player. And let me know if you want me to scout any other areas. But for now, we'll just do that one scout and we'll have him set up. There's also no preseason stuff either. I like to focus on the transfers, and the idea of preseason is to trial out your team and also to get money. We don't really need the money, and trying out the team I don't think is really appropriate. I'd rather keep it pretty fast-paced at the start of the season. So now I'm quickly going to go through a few of the different options for formations. I've not 100% decided on them yet. We will switch between a few. There's also the 4-2-3-1 wide, which Tottenham occasionally play or have played quite a lot, along with this one, which is a very similar formation. There's also this option as well, 4-3-2-1, which I'm looking at potentially using that one as well. That means Dele Alli sitting back at more of a centre-mid position. There's also a 5 at the back option as well for us there, along with the 3 at the back option as well. But I will be trialling, like I say, a few different ones. I think we'll start off with 4 at the back, pretty standard formation. And now we're going to move on to take a look at the players that we're going to sell, and then that will obviously determine who we need to bring in to try and strengthen the squad. Okay, so these are the players I'm going to be listing. To be honest, there's no real big names that I've listed. It's mainly some of the youngsters I don't think have the potential to go on and push into the first team. So there's a lot of players that maybe some of the Tottenham fans might be more familiar with than I am, but certainly these players, I can't see them growing enough to be able to compete in our first team in the future. So we're going to get rid of these 19, 20-year-olds as well. Some 17-year-olds, which I just don't think are good enough overall. But there's also 2 players that we will be loaning out for a season. We'll give these guys an opportunity, since they are 60 overall. We'll give them a chance to maybe try and grow over this season. And yeah, like I say, there's actually not that many big names that are listed. We want to try and keep hold of most of the squad here, to be honest. Obviously, I might decide to accept bids throughout the summer if we have bids received for those players, and I think that they are acceptable, then we might well get rid of them. But players like Artevicus I want to keep hold of as a 5th centre-back in the squad. But there is certainly, I think we're really crying out for another striker, to be honest. Obviously, we've got Harry Kane and Janssen. I don't know about Janssen in game. I'm not even too sure about Harry Kane. I've got to get him playing well, to be honest. I know last year I really struggled with Harry Kane, but obviously I'm going to keep those players. I need to, I think, add another striker to those, though. Some players that I have shortlisted that aren't strikers are these players. Now, the reason why I've shortlisted all these players might seem a really random sort of compilation of players, but it's basically from transfer rumours I've seen online. I've been searching for some transfers or players that Tottenham have been linked with, and these are some of the guys that have come up as a result of me looking through. It seems like we could do with another centre mid. I was looking through the squad again, and I think we could do with another centre mid. So it'll be one of these guys I think we bring in. We are currently scouting them all, and we will put in some bids pretty soon. This City guy is really, really good, I think, from these. Great potential on him as well. Lamar has been linked to Tottenham. Not so sure how close or how likely that is going to happen. Max Meyer, Ross Barkley, also other players as well. Not so sure how much we need another central attacking mid, though, because we do have other players I think I'd rather have play in those positions. So we'll keep an eye on those players, but I think we'll certainly start off by, I think it's tempting not to inquire because sometimes you get quite inflated prices, but I'm really not so sure this guy's worth. We might just go with a £9 million bid, £8 to £9 million. We'll go £8 million, we'll go a little bit of a reserved offer to begin with, see what Nice say, and we'll also put in a bid for this Fiorentina guy, but I'm not even sure what this guy's overall is. I don't even know how good he is. So we'll go £6 million for him. We'll just wait and see what the scout reports come back and say. And I would also quite like to sign Ginter as well. The reason why I'm interested in getting him, he's 6'3", he can play centre-back, right-back and CDM. I like those sort of players. I really like adaptable players that you can play in many different positions. We've also got Eric Dyer, who's very similar in that sense, but we are going to put in a bid for this guy as well. Again, I have no idea how much he's worth, so we're just going to go £5 million. It's probably an underestimated bid, but we'll go with it anyway. I'd rather underpay than overpay to begin with. But before we get on to look at those transfer offers and how we've done with those, we will go on with some player drills to begin with. For those who don't know, I just simulate all of the drills, and we're going to mainly focus on these youngsters. Nkudu's a player I really want to try and train up because even though he hasn't really been used that much in real life, I think he's got a lot of talent there. I think he could be a really good player for us. So we are going to try and train up. Obviously this week we're not expecting anybody to particularly go up, but hopefully over the next few weeks and months we can see some decent progress from those sets of players. We'll try and rotate them every couple of months is usually what I like to do, although sometimes I don't keep track of them, but we'll wait and see how they get on. Dortmund coming back, and as we expected, rejecting, in fact both of these offers have been rejected. Dortmund here wanting £12 million for Ginter, and we're of course going to increase £8 million is what we'll go with. That might be a better sort of offer for them. I think it won't be too far off what they'll accept, to be honest. Fiorentina wanting £14.5 million for Matthias, Matthias Vecino. Apologies if I'm mispronouncing that. Let me know in the comments below. £8 million I think as well for him as well. So we'll just slowly increase it. Again, I want to get the best possible deal here. Again, more player drills for us this week. One attribute going up there for Counter Vickers, but other than that, not too much else. Nice rejecting it completely. Players too valuable for them. Okay, so maybe we've underestimated his value by quite a lot by the sounds of it. He's too valuable for them, so we are going to increase that to £12 million, I think we'll go with. Again, not really too sure until the scout report comes back, but that should be in the next few days. Transfer offer in here for Kyle Walker-Peters, and it's from Millwall. It's a one-year loan deal. We'll just let him go there, get some experience, hopefully, at Millwall. I expect him to get a little bit of game time. I'm not so sure what sort of other right-backs they have there, but I'm hoping that he'll just get a few matches. Need to try and get him going open overall. Fiorentina still wanting £14.5 million. We're going to go to 10. I think that's going to be much closer. I'm reluctant to go that much higher because obviously I don't know exactly what overall he is yet. But I think we find out on the 9th. I'm pretty sure it was 9 days. In fact, it was even sooner for Ginter. He comes back at 78 overall. Really good overall actually for his age. £8 million is how much he's worth. Acceleration-wise, not so good. But I think we could deal with that. He's got decent stats elsewhere. Once you train him up, I think he's going to be really good. For a 22-year-old, he's got some fantastic stats already. Particularly his standing tackle, slide tackle. So certainly a player that I'm very interested in. Hopefully we can sign up here. Transfer for in for Jan Vertonghen, Arsenal. Of all teams, Arsenal. And it's a really weak offer. It's an Arsenal sort of offer, isn't it? That. Let's reject all offers. No interest in getting rid of Jan Vertonghen. Dortmund again saying £12 million. We're going to slowly increase it. £10 million is what we'll go with. That should be enough, I think. £10 million. Nice again. Players too valuable for them. That was a little bit unexpected. Seems like his value's £19 million. Chief Executive says 23 to 26. That's a little bit more than I was expecting. Maybe he's even better than I thought, to be honest. I knew he was a very talented player. His stats show that he is extremely good. He can play all across the midfield. So actually, I think he is quite clearly worth a little bit more than this. So I think we will increase it by a little bit more. Quite a bit more, in fact. £20 million is what we're going to go with. It's a much, much larger offer, this one. Fiorentina still saying the exact same thing. They are reluctant to go any lower than £14.5 million. I think we'll have to just stretch to 12. Okay, the scout reports have come in for quite a few different players. As you can see, Matisse Vecino, I think is how you pronounce his name, 78 overall, £9 million is how much he's worth, and you can see his stats there. Nothing particularly exciting or fantastic, but we are just going to continue to pursue this one. We'll see exactly what comes of it. We might only sign one of those centre mids. It'll probably be City as well, to be honest. He clearly looks the better option. Max Meyer, his scout report comes back, 79 overall, 20 years old. he looks pretty decent to say the least, doesn't he? Again, with some more growth, he could really improve his finishing in particular. But certainly one that we'll keep an eye on. I'm not going to say we'll sign him necessarily just yet, but we'll keep an eye on him. Lamar is someone that I'd like to sign maybe further down the line, maybe now. Because obviously we've got players like Sissoko, Lamela, who I'm not so sure how they'll get on this season. Also Nkudu as well. So if those sort of players don't work out, then we could get rid of them, Sissoko in particular, and we could sign someone like Lamar as an option for us, because he clearly has a lot of quality and a lot of potential in him. And finally, Ross Barkley as well, another player that's been quite heavily linked with Tottenham. 22 years old, 81 overall, obviously quite a big price tag on him, so I'm not so sure we would be looking to Ross Barkley. We've obviously got other players that can play in his position as well, mainly Dele Alli and Eriksen, who are in that sort of position. So Barkley's unlikely. I think Max Meyer's also unlikely as well for that position, but certainly City and Lamar are players I'm very interested in. Player drills this week see some very good growth for our youngsters. Onway going up on 3 stats, as does Carter Vickers as well. Not quite any changes in overall just yet, but I'm sure we'll get there in the next couple of weeks. Finally, bid accepted by Dortmund, £10 million for Ginter. This could be a good signing for us. He wants 45 grand a week. We'll offer him a 5-year deal. He's 22 years old, so we want to try and keep him here as long as possible. And I think, I don't know if he'll accept squad rotation. We'll try it. We'll see what he says. Nice want £34.5 million for their centre mid. Okay, this could be a really, really big offer compared to what I was expecting. He's 81 overall. His stats are crazy. I mean, look at those physical stats. I'm after those sort of stats. I've never used him in game, I don't think. But certainly those stats are incredible. Really want a bit of that. So, long shot taker as well. Did not know that. Yeah, we're going to have to sign him up, and we'll spend however much we need to get him in. They want £34.5 million. I think we'll go £25 million, and we'll see what they say. Fiorentina accept £12 million. I'm not so sure we'll sign this guy up, but we will continue to pursue it anyway, and just as a backup option in case one of the other deals falls through for some reason. 4-year contracts, and I think we'll go squad rotational. I can't see him being important, but he's got fairly sort of average attributes, so I'm not particularly excited to bring him in. Because his stats there, nothing great. Stamina's decent, that's nice, but fairly average stats. He's 24 years old. If he was 20 or 21, maybe I could let him off, but I think he's a few years too old, really, to have those sort of stats. Ginter accepts the contract. He will sign for us here £10 million. That's going to be our first addition to the team of the summer as well. So really happy to have signed him. He obviously can play in a different array of positions, which is great. And I'm not saying he'll start every single game. I'm not really expecting him to be necessarily starting every single game, but he's another player that we need to add to our squad, I think, just to give us a bit more depth. We're in the Champions League this season. We're in 4 different competitions. It's very competitive. We've got to try and have as many different players in the side as possible, and he will certainly add to it as well. So looking forward to giving him some game time, but of course I think he'll mainly be in centre back, maybe even CDM actually. Depends on this signing obviously that we're trying to get from Nice. Nice again saying it's unacceptable. They want £34.5 million. So putting a lot of offers for this guy. I'm slightly worried that they're going to come back and say that we just can't meet what they are wanting. So we're going to have to up this a bit more substantially again. £30 million now. He started off at, I think, £8 million or something ridiculous. £30 million is what we're going to go with. I wasn't really expecting to spend this sort of cash on him. More play drills this week. Nkudu finally goes up to 78 overall. He's been kind of on the edge of it for a few weeks now, but he's finally gone up, which is good news. Adds a little bit more quality into our team. Dele Alli's getting a little bit closer to 83. Hopefully that's not too far away. Okay, so Matias accepts his contract, so we're obviously not going to sign him up just yet. We'll wait and see what needs to come back and say about their centre mid. Finally accepted it. £30 million. Really, really good signing, I think, this will for us. Okay, it's much more than I was expecting to pay, but we do save a bit of money on his wage because that is obviously quite a low wage for what you get in here. We are going to offer, I think, a 5-year deal as well. I really want to get him in the side as much as possible, keep him for as long as possible as well. Squad role, I think, I really want to sign him, so I'm tempted to go crucial, but I can't really guarantee him a place, so we'll go important. Hopefully he's okay with that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below about a deal to bring in Lamar. Do you think that's a good idea? Should I try and get rid of maybe Sissoko as part of that deal? We've obviously got a few players that could potentially leave as part of the deal. I want to keep Son. I'm a fan of Son. Hopefully he plays well in game. But I'm wanting to maybe try and get in Lamar. Do I get rid of someone like Lamela? Or do I get rid of someone like maybe Nkudu, although I might not be able to get rid of him? Do I get rid of one of the other wingers, basically? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. We'll take a look at him next episode once you guys have told me what you think about potentially trying to sign him. And there we have it. City has signed a deal with us here. It's £30 million, a 50 grand a week contract, and he signs a huge chunk of our wage, but a huge chunk of our transfer budget taken up there. through that deal, but I'm happy to have done it because, of course, he is a fantastic, high-quality player that we've added into our team here. I'm looking forward to trying to use him, so hopefully he's going to put in a good performance for us in-game now. Now, it's difficult to know whether to have him in the team or Wanyama. I think for now I'll put him in the side because he's a higher overall, but obviously we'll swap between the two. Like I've said before, we've got loads of matches to play this season. We're in 4 competitions. There are so many fixtures to play. I've seen it on Manchester City career, and if you watch that, then you'll see it on there. We have so many matches to play throughout the season. So that means we won't be signing this guy, Matthias, even though he might seem like a good addition, maybe just to the squad. I'd rather use someone like Harry Winks and try and train up Harry Winks and give him a bit more game time than bring in this guy for £12 million. So we won't go ahead with it, and we'll just keep with the player that we've got, obviously, at centre mid now. And Carter Vickers goes up here this week. 68 overall, fantastic growth already from a couple of players here. Seem to have started the season off pretty well in terms of the player drills, which is good. We will continue to use them, obviously, throughout the season, hopefully try and incorporate them into the cup teams as well, some of these youngsters. But that is what our starting 11 is looking like. Of course, just the one addition, really, to the starting 11 at the moment. But I'm hoping to maybe add some more players into the rest of the squad. We've obviously signed Ginter as well so far, so just the 2 players, but I prefer quality over quantity, so you won't see that many transfers to begin with. We will slowly incorporate transfers that Tottenham make in real life, as well as some that maybe I think will be good for our team. But generally, I like to keep them quite realistic, so if you are new to the channel, then that will probably be the case. I won't be signing that many players, really, in particular in the first window anyway. But yeah, certainly a very good start for us here. We will continue to sim on, maybe even get onto the first game. Transfer offer in here for Eric Dyer, West Ham, £10.5 million. No intentions of getting rid of Eric at the moment. Don't particularly feel like we need to get rid of him. I think we've got a good squad here. I can't see us making loads more signings, to be honest. At least not for now, anyway. Of course, if there was a substantial bid for a player that I don't really intend using that much, then maybe we would. But I think for now, those 2 additions have really added some quality. I'll be interested to hear your guys' suggestions in the comments below as to who you'd like me to try and sign, if you think we need anybody else. Dele Alli there getting close to 83 overall, so he's probably a week or 2 away from going up. Morecambe come back. They've got fairly close to the value of him, so we'll just accept it. And we've also sold that Japanese youngster as well here. 100 grand added onto our transfer budget. And monthly scouting updates. And it's Bailey here coming back. Wow, what a scouting update that is. Elliot Carter here, fantastic potential on him. Could be a good player for us. We'll add him into our youth academy. Another player as well, Mason Bennett, looking good. No, we don't want him. We don't want him either. But 2 decent young players that have been brought in here could be good options for us over this season to try and train up 2 right midfielders, or right winger and right midfielder with decent potential. So we'll continue to monitor them in the youth academy. They might even get a chance to be trained, in fact, as well. Bid in for Dele Alli, £27 million, Atletico Madrid. I mean, these are just ridiculous offers. £27 million. He's 20 years old, 83 overall. There's no chance for that amount. More bids coming in. Another one of our youngsters. We'll let him go for 10 grand under what he's worth. Morecambe again coming in for one of our players. And the next one is for Moussa Dembele, another player I have no intention of selling. Atletico Madrid trying to prize away some of our players, but we're not going to let those sort of players go. Key players like him have to stay. We've got rid of one of our youngsters to Morecambe. That's 120 grand added onto our budget, which is good news. It's only a small amount, but we'll take it. Another transfer offer in here for Marcus Edwards, one of the youngsters that we are actually interested in keeping. I think he could be quite a young, talented player for us. So 17 years old, 61 overall. Yeovil want him, and we'll let him go for that. I'm hoping to use him eventually further down the line once he's been trained up a little bit and got some experience out on loan. Player sold here, and that's another player going to Morecambe. So they're forming one of our, it's like a youth academy team there at Morecambe by the looks of it from our players. But on to this first game against Everton. I'm not so sure whether we've quite got enough time. I'll have a look in a second. We've got Alfie Whiteman, another player I want to get rid of, one of the youngsters. And yeah, we'll let him go for that. 10 grand under what he's worth. Okay, so we're actually going to play the first league game of the season. Usually I don't in the first episode. We don't quite get to it usually. But we have made our signings for now. Larissa starting goal. Kyle Walker, Alderweireld, Vertonghen, Rose, Ericsson, Siri, Dembele, Son, Ali and Kane all starting in this game. And it is the bench I think you've already seen here. But yeah, we're going to go with that as a beginning to our starting 11. It's just a tester sort of starting 11. Obviously not ideal to be doing these sort of tests at the start of the season. That's what the pre-season's for, but we are going to do it anyway because we want to make our transfers and get to the first game as possible. So we'll wait and see how this team performs. I'm not expecting us to perform particularly well. It's the first game. It's the first time playing with the team. But, you know, at the same time, I'm still expecting to win here. Got to try and get this team playing well because I did a career mode last FIFA, I think it was, with Tottenham very, very briefly. About 6 episodes it lasted because I just couldn't get the team playing well. Couldn't get the players performing as I'd hoped to. So hopefully we can change that this FIFA. FIFA. Hopefully we can get some better performances from our players, and we are going to see whether we can beat Everton. For those who don't know, the difficulty that I play on, it's legendary, and we have the sliders in the opposition's favour as well, just to make things even more difficult for us. So obviously when we've not got used to this team yet, it is going to make things very difficult, especially on that sort of difficulty as well. Kane look for the ball over the top there to Eriksen. He should get onto that, but he hasn't quite managed to. Eriksen going to look for a cross back into the middle. Still has it here. Eriksen for a cross, and we just couldn't get one in. Trying to pick out Harry Kane if we could, but sadly couldn't get it in the end. Yes, well played, Dele. Onto Harry Kane. Now Siri going to look to Harry Kane again. Son should have been a bit wider there, I think. Oof, risky challenge. Just about managed to get the ball though. Falls to Kane. Back to Dele Alli. Oh, the pass was overhit. It's a poor pass in the end, and that looks like a pass back to Stekelenburg, but sadly it hasn't quite opened up for us so far in this first half. I was expecting a little bit of a slow start, as we've seen, because obviously, like I said, we still have to get used to the way this team plays and the plays that we have and that sort of thing, but we will make some tactical tweaks at half-time, and I wouldn't rule out some changes, but I don't really want to have to make them at half-time. So that's it for the first half. They seemed to blow the whistle just as we were on the attack, which was a bit annoying. It looks like our best opportunity of the game. It's half-time, it's 0-0. We all make some slight changes and tweaks at half-time here. For some reason, City seems to be really tired. I'm not so sure why that is, but yeah, I don't know if we'll make any subs, but I might just change the formation, change a few sort of instructions and that sort of thing. Okay, so only a slight change, just to more sort of centre attacking mids as opposed to left and right mids there for Son, and we basically just put the full-backs on overlap as well now. So no substitutions, but just slight tactical changes. Hopefully an improvement. If not, we'll make some changes pretty early on. Free kick opportunity here. Musa to try and deliver. Harry Kane's in the middle. Got to try and pick him out here at the front post. Kane was in there. It's just a little bit overhit there from Dembele. Good chance, though. Ali, brought down. That's an easy free kick. We'll make some change, I think, after this free kick. Right on the edge of the box here. I'm not so good with free kicks, but it's a good position. Is Eriksen our best taker? I would have thought he should be. Yeah, I think he is. Got to get this one right. Come on, Eriksen. Let's get up and over the wall. That's really bad. That is terrible. Let's make some changes now. Okay, all three changes. Nkudu, Lamela and Wanyama all to come on. We'll take off Siri, Son and Dembele. A few tied players there. We've also had to take Eriksen back from right mid into centre mid or CDM alongside Wanyama, just to kind of keep him on the pitch and hopefully have a bit more creativity there. So we'll see how that goes. Less than 30 minutes left. Disappointing not to get a goal, but I wasn't expecting that much, as I said before the game. I was just hoping we could nick a win in this match, really. It's always going to be difficult in our first game, but hopefully I'll get used to the team pretty swiftly, and we can always fiddle around with formations and that sort of thing. Dele Alli into Harry Kane's forced him out wide. It's going to have to be Dele Alli in the middle, I think, here. Kane to deliver. Ali's in there. Oh, should have done better. Great opportunity. Jagielka was in there, I think, just in front of him. Really good opportunity for Dele Alli. Could have got a goal there, and that's poor. Wanyama into Dele Alli. Need another runner from midfield. We've got it from Eriksen here. Eriksen back to Dele Alli. Great chance. I couldn't get it out from under his feet. Oh, that's his left foot. It's not a particularly good strike. What the hell is going on? Kane. Ball over the top here to Wanyama. Oh, wrong way. How have you done that? It was more difficult to send it backwards than it was forwards. Oh, what a nightmare, Wanyama. 0-0, of course, not the result that we wanted, but again, I did kind of expect us to not play very well. It's unfortunate that it has to be obviously in the first episode like this, but that's the way it is when you're just getting used to a team. We've had the better chances, but not by much, to be honest. 4 shots, 2 on target. Everton not had 1 on target, so yeah, I think we probably deserved to edge it 1-0, but we didn't really create that many clear-cut chances, so I can't really argue that too much. It's only a point, but it's again, it's against Everton, decent side anyway, and as long as it's not a loss at this stage, then it's pretty decent. So we can obviously improve. There's definitely places to improve, and we'll look to do that next episode, and we do need to maybe look at the formation and a few different players and where they're positioned, but we'll do that in the next episode. We'll quickly do some player drills to finish off today's episode, and yeah, I'm expecting a better performance next episode, better football in general, but yeah, it was a little bit disappointing in terms of performance but we got counter victors here, and Harry Winks going up, and overall that's good news for us, now at 69 and 72, so already good growth from those two, and yeah, that is everything for today's episode. That's everything for episode 1. I'll be back in 2 days' time, so not tomorrow, the day after. I kind of alternate between the 2 career modes for those of you that are new to the channel. But that's everything. Thank you all so much for watching. If we could try and hit 200 likes on today's episode, I would really appreciate it. Also, if you're new to the channel or just haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well. That'd be absolutely fantastic. And I'll see you guys next time for another episode. Goodbye.